What are we doing? You hear all this talk today about how we're not doing enough, how climate change is inevitable, how policy is moving too slowly, how we have to stop doing what we were doing before we hit 2 degrees Celsius, or even better, 1.5, right? But it can feel overwhelming at times. Like, it's never going to happen and we're just doomed. But I'm here to show you 10 companies that are making a difference right here, right now. People might tell you that things aren't looking so good for the earth and that we aren't doing enough. And don't get me wrong, we have a long way to go and there's still a lot of things that we need to do. But I'm here to shed some positivity because I want to show you these 10 companies that are making a difference in plastic recycling, in the circular economy, in sustainability, in green energy. So watch all the way to the end because you don't want to miss a single one of these amazing companies. And if any spark your interest, check out their full interview in the description below.
We want to reduce plastic consumption and we want to improve the afterlife of plastic because right now it is unsustainable. We tell people that a better solution to plastic exists, that we can have a plastic without the problems. You have a plastic that biodegrades naturally, a bioplastic which is of natural origin, and even the resource is not a fossil fuel source such as petrochemical plastics. We have a renewable resource for which we make the plastic. Then they will start demanding this material into their everyday objects that they buy, into their fast food containers, everywhere. Applications are endless. And if they want this material, eventually the big companies are going to start looking for this material and giving it to them. Because, of course, companies only make a profit if they give people what they want. Otherwise, people won't buy it or they might be less inclined to buy it. So that's why we want to communicate, to put this commercial pressure on the manufacturers that we're here to have an impact, we're here with a purpose.
Chemi is in business of technology, engineering, equipment manufacturing, as well as conversion of plastic waste into oil. Since 2007, we've supplied, to be exact, 47 facilities, most of them in India, to convert plastic into oil. But we have done a bunch of assignments in Middle East, Africa, as well as Europe and UK. We convert plastic waste that usually goes to landfill. We convert that into oil, and that we have additional piece of technology that can also purify that oil so that that oil quality can be upgraded. Our vision is to unlock the global production of biofuels, circular plastics, and sustainable chemicals through pyrolysis and oil purification technologies. Our technology and business model is to convert plastic and biomass waste into the required quality of oil for downstream production of circular economy plastics, retail blendable fuels, as well as sustainable chemicals.
Unlike any other platform out there, our sellers actually sell on an auction system. And that's one feature that we really hope would help the whole recycling of plastic as well, by helping our sellers discover the best price globally for the scrap plastic they have to sell. And basic economics, if prices go up, that encourages more players to come in, create more supply, and more plastic gets recycled. Hopefully, that's kind of by design our goal for this particular feature of our platform. And we are eagerly testing it now to see if it works.
You have less and less of plastic being shipped around the world, and then of course reduce carbon emissions as well. And also, as Lance put it previously, hopefully by having better prices for sellers and incentivizing people to actually really sell the plastic that they've collected, we can actually have more plastic recycled, which also has a lot of benefits for the environment, not just pollution, but also in terms of CO2 emissions.
Shop like Gividam is, in that sense, pretty straightforward. We make sure that we have all, or as much as we can get, brands who are as ethical as possible. We found that it's really hard as a brand to create something that is actually ethical. It's actually not exploiting people and not exploiting the earth. So we tend to work with brands we feel are credible, who we believe are trying to better themselves, because they probably know they're not doing the best they could do. You were just talking about that everybody always wants to do better, but you can also highlight the things that are going well. So that's basically what we do. We know that things can go better. We're even working on a documentary which has a tagline. They want us to do good, but need us to do better. It's actually a thing within our company, funnily enough. But in the end, we do focus on the things that are actually going well, because there's a lot of stuff going well and people trying to, make a difference, and they're actually making a difference. So what we're doing is finding those brands who are making a difference and still, although they're already doing better than most, still striving towards doing even better, and giving them a platform and making sure they reach their ethically inclined customers.
But where it all started was in a field, actually. So I had a company before, and we collected leftover festival tents to be upcycled and repurposed into new products, or if they were good enough, to tents again. And one thing that was really clear from working with people and other vendors and festival goers was that they're really keen to shop more sustainably, but they don't know where to find these products all in one place. They don't trust all the time that it is more sustainable or better impact, because there's a lot of greenwashing around, and they don't want to have to spend the time in their lives having to change big consumer habits to be more sustainable. So essentially what we're trying to do is make that journey more accessible by making it transparent, giving quantifiable data, and aggregating all of those products into one place for consumers to find easily.
There is a real problem with our wasteful linear system and the way that we are consuming products. And that problem needs to change, and it needs to change fast. And it actually links into all of the other environmental issues. And of course, packaging has come more into the news recently, with people focusing on plastic as being a real issue. And while there are some problems with plastic and how we use it, the public are, in many cases, a bit misinformed about, plastic being all evil, and all we need to do is just switch to another material and problem solved. And of course, the reality isn't quite that simple. Switching to a circular economy model for our society tackles every single one of the major threats facing our planet, including climate change. I see what we're doing as the sort of fundamental behind all sustainability, because the circular economy is the only way that humans can sustainably consume resources and therefore sustainably live on this planet.
Often these little mom and pop stores in Asia, they're selling up to 500 different items in a very, very tiny wooden shop. And they don't have this retail space to put in fancy refillable stations. These single-use sachets are very conveniently placed on wooden cardboard backing where you can hang up hundreds in a shop that you could never fill. So the point that I'm trying to make is that activists look at the problem without looking at the infrastructure of how is a shop designed that actually enables refillable stations to be conveniently placed in there without that store losing valuable real estate within their store that stops them selling other products. And they need to be selling up to these 500 different items to actually make a living every day. And if we take up valuable real estate within that shop, because we're now demanding that they have a refill station that's only got maybe 10 products, it doesn't make sense. Are we working with poor people by removing their option to buy these single sachets and forcing them to go to a refillable station? So there's a lot of factors at play here.
Something familiar that people use every day, and okay, how can you adapt to a smart city, sustainable living? And then, okay, this is scalable because you could either invest in one benches to test out, you could partner with certain private companies, and then see benefits of the benches. So you have the energy bonus with the solar. And then you could also integrate the hybrid model. in Bergen, there's a lot of rain and cold conditions and so on. So we also got a built-in warm heat sensors. So you can sit on a comfortable position and then spend more time outside the business, a cafe, restaurants, and so on, or a football pitch, for example.
Ibis Power recognizes climate change and feels like we need to do something about it. And one part is the built environment, and there is the solution of solar panels on dwelling houses, but those medium and high-rise buildings are overlooked in terms of to generate sufficient energy on those buildings and make them eventually energy neutral. And that's where we have a solution that helps real estate owners, that helps governments, that helps grid owners for grid balance, where we combine wind and solar energy in an integrated system with a very high efficiency to be placed as a modular addition on top of the roofs of those medium to high-rise buildings. And we generate 6 times on average more energy, can go up to 9 to 10 times even, depends on the location. And that's how we can make many stories of those buildings energy neutral. And that's a big step in urban sustainability.
And one of them that is quite interesting, and it's a renewable energy available anywhere on the planet, but it's still untapped today, is gas. Methane, which today, life by its cycle produces methane just by the way of we are and the way we live, the way life transforms itself. But today we are not capturing this gas very much. We are starting only to start this. But it's a very interesting primary source of energy, because it's an unlimited source that can be used to be able to produce CO2-free hydrogen from that gas. And this is exactly on what we are working on at Sakowin, is being able to produce a CO2-free, cost-competitive hydrogen production solution that is going to be available, that can be installed easily at the end of a gas line, meaning on existing gas infrastructure, and convert gas to hydrogen on-site and on demand. So you don't have to either store or transport your hydrogen. You can do it right on site.
So what did you think? Pretty amazing, right? And that was only 1 minute of each of those interviews. But there is so much more that they explained to me and they talked about during their full interviews. So make sure that you find the interview that you would like to watch, that you would like to see, down in the description below. And the best way to support these companies and to make the world a greener place is by liking this video, sharing it with anybody you know who you think might be interested in this as well. And to let everyone know that there are great things going on out there. Climate change is not all depressing. There are some great companies and great people doing amazing work. So do your part, make the world a greener place, and share this video.